All right, so Mike, I would like to hear a little bit about not just how you ended up down here, but just your rise through the ranks in jiu-jitsu and like your upbringing and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. I got into martial arts really young. I was always attracted to wrestling specifically for some reason. When I was really young, I just loved martial arts. I was obsessed with it. I made my mom sign me up for karate classes when I was a kid, and then I made her find a place that would teach me wrestling when I was like 7, because they wouldn't let me do it at the school. And
Charlie and Jason over here having a fight with a plastic knife. That's what kind of man Jason is, just so you know.
Yeah.
He's assaulting people with a plastic knife when he's not getting interviewed.
Yeah, but anyway, after I got into wrestling, I got my butt kicked in a few wrestling tournaments. And I kind of fell away from it a little bit. It was a lot harder than I expected. They didn't have any divisions in wrestling. You enter wrestling, it's like you versus whoever else shows up. It doesn't matter how awesome they are, how long they've been training.
Yeah,
they're just going to kill you.
It's just weight class.
So exactly. So it was really tough for me when I first started out, and I got discouraged a little bit. But I stuck with it for a while. I stuck with it through high school a little bit, and I got into boxing too. My aunt did the Golden Gloves in 1995 in New York. It was the first year they allowed it for women. And when she was training for that, I got to go with her trainer, and go all around. She fought in Madison Square Garden for the finals and won. And it was just an amazing experience, And that really made me want to get into boxing. So I started doing some boxing also. Throughout high school, I did a little bit of Kempo, a little bit of boxing, and up to high school, I should say. And then I started wrestling in junior high. Again, seriously, and that was kind of my start. I got into jiu-jitsu at 19. I kind of took a break from everything, up to 16, and I ended up getting into a street fight with a kid from the wrestling team who I knew was a better wrestler than me, and the kid. It was like a bad situation. It was at like a party, and I was trying to leave. This kid was, drinking at a house party, whatever else, and he was getting egged on by like 100 people. A bunch of people telling him I'd whoop his ass and all this stuff.
Oh, no.
So anyway, he steps in front of my car, doesn't let me leave, and then finally it turned into that we're fighting. He throws a punch at me, and I went to close the distance on him. I think I was trying to elbow him or something, and then he grabbed me in a tie clinch. First time anyone ever put me in a tie clinch. I didn't really know what to do, so I was just blocking his knees. And then eventually, I grabbed his legs and I took him down. And the thought through my head was, oh, this guy's a way better wrestler than me. What was I thinking? And as we hit the ground, he comes up on a crotch ripper, picks me up in the air, and slams my face into a parking lot twice.
Oh.
So I had this big gash going through my face. And then I tried to reverse it and scramble on top of him, and then a bunch of people broke it up. My face just got slammed into a parking lot. I lost that fight.
For sure.
That was clean. So everyone broke it up, and then I said some words and I left. And I was thinking about that for weeks after. I started training again right after that. And I was just kind of looking for him. And he was actually looking for me, too, to apologize. He's actually a really cool guy. He's actually a friend of mine. He actually made it out to the Ultimate Fighter last year.
What's his name?
Last season. His name is James Jenkins. So he's actually a great fighter, man. He's a really good fighter. He was on the Ultimate Fighter season 15. He was looking for me at the same time I was looking for him to apologize to me about what happened.
You're looking
for
a whooping.
I want a rematch. But anyway, he's a super cool guy. I'm friends with him now. And
I just want to extend an official thank you to James Jenkins for slamming Mike's face in the dirt.
He got me back into training. So, anyway, that's kind of what got me started back up. And then I found submission grappling, which was kind of like, I thought I wanted wrestling. My whole life I really wanted submission grappling.
Yeah.
That was the art that I was looking for. And I found that through a ninjutsu school I started training at. And I started doing submission grappling at this traditional martial arts school.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I
did ninjutsu, yeah.
Trained ninjutsu.
That's right, yeah.
Did you tuck your pants into your boots and everything?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh
Tabby, all that.
Is there any pictures of this anywhere?
I'm sure there's tons of them. But I got into ninjutsu, and that got me into submission grappling. And then, after a while, I started getting really into it, and I thought that was the same thing as jiu-jitsu. I saw like the first UFCs around then. I got really into it. I'm like, oh, well, I thought that was what I was doing. I thought it was the same thing. And then I realized that the Brazilian jiu-jitsu community's got kind of a higher level of submission grappling.
For sure.
And after a while, I started. I went into a jiu-jitsu school thinking I was the shit because I was pretty much one of the, pound for pound, I felt like I was one of the better submission grapplers in the area because I rolled with a bunch of other traditional martial artists that did some grappling. Mm-hmm. And, I didn't realize it wasn't really the same level with the guys that focus on purely submission grappling for competition purposes. And when I went to school and I was struggling against white belts and, blue belts were beating me, I really realized that this is what I needed to do. And I started training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from then on. And that was in, I think, 2004, I want to say I got into it. And in 2005, I was training under Master Mansour, and I moved into Master Mansour's gym. I dropped out of college, and I was having money problems. I went to California for a little while. I lived in California, and I was gonna have to quit jiu-jitsu. Like I was, my life was a little bit falling apart. Like I was kind of in shambles. I was in that age where I didn't have money to do anything, and I had so many things I needed to do. 19. Yeah. So 19 years old, Master Mansour and his partner Paul, they allowed me to move into the gym and start learning how to teach a little bit and compete full time. Which for me was the most amazing thing that ever happened.
Yeah, for sure.
I was a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and I was really serious about it. I loved it. I had a passion for it. I loved competing, and that's when I kind of fell in love with teaching. Was when Master Mansour was teaching me how to become an instructor, and that was some of the most valuable education I ever received in my life. And Master Mansour is an amazing human being. If you ever get to meet him,
I've never
awesome.
met him,
yeah.
But man, like to be 19 years old and sitting at the feet of like one of the true
red belts, yeah.
Yeah, one of the true. Was he a red belt at that time?
He was
already?
a red belt, yeah. He was one of the first. At the time, he was one of 8 in the world. One of 8 in the world.
When I was a blue belt, I was in charge.
Yeah.
Like I never had a coach, a day-to-day jiu-jitsu coach. Of course, I had Jamie was my Tung Sudo instructor, and he was great, a martial arts teacher. But I never had a jiu-jitsu coach. But like to be sitting at the feet of a red belt as a 19-year-old kid, that's incredible, man.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. So I lived in that gym for 2 years with him and Paul, and they helped me a lot. And Master Mansour got me into eating raw salmon steaks every day. It was like it became like my favorite food ever.
Yeah.
And
after the way I saw you down those oysters last night, I believe.
I'm all about the
we
raw
we walked into a Chinese buffet last night after training. Mike's been beating me up all night. We walk into training at the Chinese buffet, and they say, we're closing in 30 minutes. I was gonna be racist and try to do like a Chinese impression right then. I was like, this is gonna be terrible. I'm just gonna go straight redneck voice instead. And I said, we're closing in 30 minutes. We just want y'all to know. And Mike's like, no problem. And he makes a beeline straight for raw oysters, and he's got 2 plates of raw oysters, and he eats as many of them as he can.
In all fairness, I wanted to make sure I got them before they threw them out.
I was like, you just catch them out of the dumpster. Might as well. It was so gross. All right, please continue.
So anyway, I was there for 2 years. I met my wife, Ann, at the time was my girlfriend, and I got her started in jiu-jitsu about 2006 or 7.
She's a black belt now.
She's a black belt now.
She's better than Mikey is now.
For sure.
Yeah, she's a black belt now, and she lived in Florida with her mom. She just moved to Florida. She's from the same area as me. But she moved to Florida with her mom, and she came up and visited and trained with me. And I got her training with somebody down in Florida, a guy named Sean Wells, another really good black belt, who is a really, really good friend of mine. He came up and helped Jason for this camp a little bit too. He's really well known for the guillotine. And eventually,
that's a good dude to have up for Ricardo Long's camp, because he's got a sick guillotine.
Yeah, he's an awesome guillotine. Yeah, Ricardo's one of the best in MMA, I think. So, something we prepared a lot for. But anyway, I went down to Florida, stayed with Ann and her parents, and started training with Sean Wells and Daniel Moraes, who had just moved there from Brazil. And Sean Wells was a purple belt at the time, but he was a super overbalanced purple belt. Like he was a purple belt that rolled, better than most black belts. Yeah. Like he was one of those guys. He was purple belt,
like
but it's only because he didn't have an instructor to promote him. He was kind of training on his own. So I was a blue belt. He was a purple belt, but he was way beyond purple belt. So
when I was a purple belt, they were like, how did you get a purple belt? He was a purple belt. Why are you not a black belt?
Yeah. So anyway, I started training with him and Daniel Moraes, and Daniel became my instructor at that time. I got my purple round black belt from Daniel. I started training with Daniel full time. I actually moved to get closer to his gym, and I got our own apartment, and I moved right up the road into the worst neighborhood imaginable in Jacksonville, Florida, and got a bike, and I just rode my bike to training 3 times a day to work out with Daniel, and started competing a lot. And Daniel, being a 5-time world champion, had a lot of wealth of knowledge to share, and he was competing also full time. Every time he was doing the local tournaments that had $1,000 prizes, you go to all of those things. And man, those local tournaments in Florida were not low level tournaments. I went into some of those absolute divisions. It was like me and like a couple other badass purple belts that are now black belts, and then Daniel Moraes, Pablo Popovich, Cyborg, Bushesha. Like those were not normal like local level tournaments.
No.
It was insane the level of talent that was entering.
There's
those
a lot
things.
of talent in Florida. People sleep on the level of jiu-jitsu and martial
Matt
arts
Arroyo
in
would
the
be in those
South.
things, and A lot of good guys, man.
Atlanta's like that. Like, there's some dudes in Atlanta. You got like Zhucao is up there. The Lima brothers are up there. Of course, Cole is up around that area.
So I remember I had one match with really good. He's a Rob Kahn black belt now. This kid Robbie D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
I had a match with him. We were purple belts, and he ended up beating me. Like, he swept me with the heel hook, and got some points on the board. And I couldn't pass his guard at all. The guy had such a great guard, and he ended up beating me. And the next match was Pablo Popic. I'm like, all right, good luck, brother. What do you want? He went out there, Pablo Popic, and got rape choked in 5 seconds. That's just the level of those tournaments is insane. It's and then Pablo ended up having a guy named Mario Ronaldo in the next match. It's like a 300-pound monster. Think about a 300-pound guy that can do a backflip. All right, that's Mario Ronaldo. And then Cyborg had a match with Tom Muller, who's a New York black belt with Matt Serra. And then ended up being like Pablo and Buchecha closing it out. And Buchecha bowed out to Pablo. Like that was the division. Insane. Yeah, the level of talent in those divisions. It's almost like the IBJJF Mundial's absolute division. It's close to it. So it was pretty cool being involved in that. In that scene at that time. And then anyway, I ended up. Alan was training with a bunch of guys at the time. We had a guy fight out here from Florida. Daniel met Alan, and Alan actually flew Daniel out to help him train for a fight. So I think Daniel helped Alan train for the Patrick Cote fight. And Alan really liked the stuff that he got from it. He ended up submitting Patrick Cote, using some of the stuff that he worked with Daniel. And for his next fight, he was supposed to fight Damian Maia. It was going to be in Brazil. So he flew down to Brazil with Daniel to train for the Damian Maia fight. It was actually going to be Alan's first headliner. They had a poster and everything. And that's when Alan had that eye happen. So when they were doing that, Alan didn't have anyone to teach jiu-jitsu at the time. So Daniel recommended me, and that's how I came out here. And that's how it started. I was supposed to be here for 2 weeks.
Alan went to Brazil, and you were supposed to come in for 2 weeks to teach while he was gone, and then you just stayed.
That's when I met this clown and all these guys here, and I just fell in love with the place. Everyone here was super, super welcoming. And
don't lie, you fell in love with me.
If you don't quit slapping that plastic knife against your leg, you don't need somebody to fall in love with you and save you.
See, he fell in love with Jason the Kid. And he just couldn't go nowhere.
But I just felt like there was a great group of guys here, and I really liked, this warm, welcoming environment. I liked the weather, compared to when I'm from New York, man.
Well, it's cool down here, man. It's cool. The beach. I live in the South on purpose. I get to travel all around the country, man, and people are always like, what are you doing in Alabama? Like, I live in Alabama on purpose, man. I like Alabama.
I like Mississippi.
Yeah. People here are cool, man.
Ask Charlie why his whole family wants to move down and they ain't been here a month.
Yeah. What's been your... So, Charlie, you're from Bethlehem. You up there with JM and Zach.
I'm from Philadelphia, but I go to school out by Bethlehem. That's why I train at finishers.
A little louder so we can hear you.
So I go to school out by Finishers MMA in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, but I'm from Philadelphia. And I was kind of a college wrestling dropout. Just started training MMA, and... out here with Jason training now.
But your brother wrestled in college.
My brother wrestled 5 years at Penn State. He's got 4 national championship rings. And my younger brother is just signed to Drexel University. He'll be wrestling there this fall.
You just came down to hang out and work in this camp with Jason.
Just beat up on Jason. That's
you want to see what mud riding was like.
That's all it was. He wanted to see what mud riding was like. So he came down. We wrestled a tiny bit, and then we mud rode a hell of a lot.
I'm from the city where there's just barely any trees, and Jason takes me out in the woods, riding on his buggies and his 4-wheelers.
You're lucky that's all that happened when Jason
He don't know what happens to people out in the woods.
Hear it, man. Run. Hear it. Watch out for those banjo
solos.
solos.
Jason playing the banjo.
Well, they do that at home. They don't have to have woods for that, Jason.
But nah, man. All bullshit aside, Charlie, he's a real good wrestler. He said he's a college dropout or whatever, but man, the kid's good. He just isn't very smart. So.
I'm still in the whole college part, just the wrestling.
He isn't very smart, so he didn't make it into Penn State like his big brother did, but I'm telling you, he's just as good as 97% of those wrestlers that you see on TV and stuff.
He said that, not me.
He's been kicking my ass for this training camp and, making me so much better. So, Ricardo Long's better watch out.
I guess that's what really made me want to come back down and be down here with you so much. But like just what you just said, like he's better than you at wrestling, and you appreciate that, and you go in and you want to get whooped like that.
Right.
And so when you got out there with me, like
Oh yeah.
I smacked you around a little bit, and you enjoyed it and you wanted more.
Yeah, that's it.
But most of the time when I get down and get to work with guys who have already had some success, they don't like that. They don't like when they're not the alpha in the room.
I don't know, man. I love to lose in the gym because you learn from your losses. You don't learn from just beating people all the time. It really teaches you nothing. You learn from the losses, and I would much rather my losses be inside of this building instead of inside the Honda Center or the T-Mobile Arena or something like that. I would much rather lose inside this gym than lose inside that octagon. So that's kind of what that's all about. You got to train with people better than you to be able to get better, and you can't get better if you're constantly beating guys up.
Yeah, I think that's the mark of a champion, man. You may not be the UFC champion just yet, but you got the mind of a champion. You got the.
Yeah, I'm coming for him.
Yeah,
Best believe it.
I
I'm
love that,
coming
man.
for everybody that's in the way of that belt, and whoever holds that belt whenever I get to that spot. I'm coming for him too.
So how has life changed for you, man, since you started having all this success? Well, let's talk about like when was your first like fight of the night, sub of the night kind of? Was that Caceres? Was that when you got?
Nah, I got my fight of the night against Jim Allers, which is Ricardo Long's training partner. So we're gonna see if we can't get my second fight of the night. I've got 2 performances of the night since Jim Allers. We're gonna see if I can't get a second fight of the night off of this fight. Or hell, even a third performance of the night would be good too.
Just some money. That's what we're
That's
looking
it.
for.
Just a bonus.
We're looking for 50 G's, baby. That's the thing. But no, man. In all reality, it really, I could go out there and fight for free and still have plenty of fun. It wouldn't matter to me. But man, my life's changed so much since I got that first bonus because after the Cavalieri fight, I made $12,000 for losing that fight, and it was around Christmas time, so I've never had $12,000 in the bank. Never in my life have I had that.
How
much
long
money.
did you have $12,000 in the bank?
$12,000 is supposed to last me for the next year. It lasts me maybe a month.
We need to get you some financial counseling.
Everybody got Christmas presents that year, and then
It's kind of awesome, man.
I was right back to building houses again, and then for the Jim Allers fight, I was still working, all the way up until 2 weeks before the fight. I was at work until 5 o'clock, and then I come to the gym afterwards. And then 2 weeks before the fight, I told him, hey, look, I'm not working anymore. I'll come back after the fight.
You were still living in a shed at my house then, wasn't
Yeah, I was still living in my brother's backyard at that time. But after the fight and everything, I told him I would come back to work after the fight, and then after I went out there, I got that bonus. My old boss was like, "Hey man, you coming back to work?" I was like, "Yeah." I just made like 80 G's. I think I'm good. I'll come back if I need it. But so far, thank God I haven't needed it.
And then you've got another bonus check since then.
Yeah, I fought Daniel Hooker, didn't get a bonus. Then I fought Alex Caceres, got the bonus. And
I actually just watched that fight this morning.
Yeah.
Like, while I was waiting on Jacob to get ready, I was like, I'm gonna watch. I watched that Caceres fight, yeah, because I'm good friends with Cole Miller, and Cole lost to Alex.
Yeah, that was a good performance from Alex.
Alex
Did
goes
the
around the
same
waist
thing I
and
did.
lifts Cole, and then you did the same thing to Alex. Man, that was crazy. That was an insane fight. You're so good. You find that body triangle so fast. I never seen anybody finds it that quickly.
Man, that's something I did long before MMA. That's something I did long before I knew what I was doing. That and this rear naked choke right here.
See, the thing is, my theory on that really is, there's a couple things Jason does that I didn't really agree with when I first got here, and I tried to change his ways. I when I first came here, all he used is body triangle, and I tried to shut that down. I'm like, look, you need more than just the body triangle. I kept shutting it down on him. Well, this thick-headed kid, he's instead of actually getting better at the stuff I was showing him, he just kept getting better at the body triangle to the point where I couldn't really shut it down anymore.
Yeah.
Now he's got one of the best body triangles ever
in the
felt.
world.
Yeah,
in
I
the
mean,
world.
legitimately, he probably, I would say he's up there with any of the best guys in the world with that body triangle. And I just came from him being stubborn. Or dumb, one or the other. He doesn't want to learn anything else. He just stay on that one he got.
Sometimes dumb is as good as it gets, though.
So I mean that's something that just developed to a really high level. But I mean the reason he grabs it so fast is because that was, I think for most people, when you learn jiu-jitsu, you learn how to take it back. What do you learn? You learn to put 2 hooks in.
Yeah,
right?
the hooks.
You never learned that. So when you're learning this, it's like learning a language,
Mm-hmm.
And then after you learn a language, it's a little difficult to learn a second language, So the body triangle becomes like a second language for most people. But with Jason, that's his first language. The hooks is the weird one for him. He's like, oh, I can't do this crap. Whoa, let's go back to the body triangle. That's what most people do with hooks, So for me, like my favorite thing to do is the one hook and single hook control, flip the guy over, cross the feet behind the hip, that kind of game. But I'll go to the body triangle here and there, I'll go to hooks here and there. But for Jason, that body triangle is just number one always, And that's something that really goes a long way. And it's really hard to deal with when you're not used to that. Nobody really does that, So it's just became like he doesn't, when he takes it back, it's like a flying triangle around your waist every time.
Yeah, it's
just
insane.
weird. To stop, you don't have to, like everyone goes to stop the hook's not coming, it just comes all the way across.
Yeah,
every
like you
time.
go watch that Caceres fight, and the body triangle was, so you got it in the first round, you finished the first round on his back.
Yeah.
But you had the body triangle on before I even noticed it. I was like, whoa. It's as soon as you were there, the body triangle was on.
As soon as
same thing in the second round.
That leg's coming through, babe.
Same thing in the second round, and you lock it on like instantly. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just,
I
it's
use
his
the
first
body
language.
triangle. I use it a lot, but not like that. Not like he can. It's
Yes,
insane.
I'm the same way. It's just it wasn't like I think it's like his first language, that's the one he's gonna go to that first every time. He didn't learn the other one first.
So what happens? Like what happens next? Like what are you gonna do? Are you gonna teach martial arts one day? What do you think you're gonna, or are you just like, look, when I'm done fighting, I'm done with the game?
I definitely want to open my own gym one day. It's gonna be like, I don't even know how I'm gonna name it. It's probably like Jason Knight and Alan Belcher.
Jason Knight's chicken store.
Yeah, so
You need to open a chicken store.
It's on the chicken store next to it.
That's gonna be a T-shirt.
but yeah, we're gonna. I want to open some kind of gym one day. It's still gonna be an affiliate of Alan Belcher.
Well, you got a great set of mentors.
Yeah, definitely.
This is a super successful gym.
And my thing is like, I would like to
Yeah,
go
there's
the
probably
next
200
few years.
people out there right now.
It's gonna be hard to, run it on my own right now. But I know that I've got enough, basically family behind me. These guys, they're not my friends and my coaches no more. They're family now.
Yeah.
And I know that they're gonna help me, be successful. And not only that, of course I want to have my own successful gym one day. But I want to try and find different things to invest in that's going to make me money, without me having to touch it, without me having to deal with it. I want to leave this career, and I don't care if I ever get filthy rich. But right now I'm living comfortable. I want to live comfortable for the rest of my life. I don't never want to have to go back to a shipyard and get in the bottom of a ship. I don't never want to have to go get on a scaffold and put a roof on a house ever again in my life.
Yeah.
Unless it's something that I'm doing for me.
Unless you want to.
Yeah, unless I want to. But yeah, I don't ever want to have to sweat my ass off in the heat unless I'm sweating my ass off for this, this career right here.
I told y'all he was dumb. He don't want to be filthy rich. People say stuff like that.
I got in this stuff to have fun, and that's what I'm doing. I'm having a blast. If it makes me filthy rich, great. But that's not my biggest concern. My biggest concern is making sure that I'm taken care of, my family's taken care of. If my kids ask me, "Hey, Daddy, can I have this?" I don't have to say, "Well, no, son, we don't have the money." That's what I worry about. I want to make sure that everything's provided for, and plus a little extra. But I don't care to just be the richest guy in the world or nothing. It's not that big a deal to me. I came from nothing. I'm gonna leave this world and can't take shit with me. So what's it matter,
Yeah. Well, dude, thanks for sitting down. You want to shout out sponsors and stuff real quick?
I had a bunch of sponsors for my last fight, and I really didn't do a whole big sponsorship thing for this one. I've had a few people help me out here and there, but first off, I thank all the ones from my last fight. Just to re-thank y'all again, even though I've already done it. R. James Construction, Coastal Click LLC, Performance Auto Upholstery, Dreamers Construction, Razor Sharp Nutrition, The Bluff Bar, Brooms AC and Heating, Tap Out Construction, Underground Studio, Team Waste, The Print Shed, Integrity Plant Services, and Danny Cooper, my boy B-Mac. Thank you so much. Everything. I've had Neil Life Physical Therapy. They've been helping me, fix my body up for this fight. Massage Connection's been helping me fix my body up for this fight. Gulf Coast Cryo's been helping me fix my body up for this fight. All my training partners, my coaches, man, thank y'all so much. I brought down so many people for this fight that, if I miss somebody, I'm sorry. There's been way too many people come down for this fight. Way too many people step up to the plate, and I want to thank all of y'all. But, Charlie Livingston, Caleb Livingston, Max Livingston, Brandon McCatherine, Barncat, which is Brian Debs, Sean Wells,
Applegate came
Sean
over.
Applegate.
He's a beast too.
Yeah, man, and Sean brought a couple guys with him.
Who did he bring over? He bring over Chase and Josh and all those guys.
I couldn't even tell you who all. I can't even remember who all has been down here. But we have had a group of killers, off and on. A few days here, a few days there. We've had so many people come in and step up to the plate and help me get ready for this fight, and I thank y'all so much for it. All my fans, my friends, my family, thank y'all so much for the support. It means the world, and I hope that I go out here and I give this guy hell and don't let anybody down. So make sure you're watching July 29th, and I'm going to put on a hell of a show for you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Of course, I want to give a opportunity to tell you guys, make sure you're following me on Instagram, BrandonMC.Ninja, on Facebook at BrandonMC.Ninja. And then, I don't know if you knew, but I got a website, ironically. It's BrandonMC.Ninja,
Yeah.
www.BrandonMC.Ninja, where I teach all my classes and my seminars and all that good stuff, $5 a month. Of course, we just started sponsoring Jason, and it's been a good relationship. So,
Yeah,
Jason, thanks for letting me be a part of what you're doing, man. I'm really happy to be here.
I'm going to tell y'all now, man, that BrandonMC.Ninja, he teaches his seminars and stuff on that website. You go in there and you watch some of this stuff. You go in there and you watch my fights and you see some of the skill that I bring out in that rubber guard. This guy right here is the one who's sharpening every tool in my shed, as far as that rubber guard goes. If you're wondering how my rubber guard's getting so good, go watch this man's page, and you'll see some of that stuff on there along with a hell of a lot more. It's well worth the $5 a month.
I feel like it's worth upwards of $50 a month.
I'm gonna tell you now, it's
Why you
worth
telling
more
your
than $5. I can promise you
Yeah, I
that
know.
shit.
Your Facebook and Twitter and all that.
But yeah, follow me on Facebook. My fan page is Jason the Kid Knight. Go on there, hit the like button, share it with all your friends, tell them to hit the like button. I have nowhere near enough followers on social media. I haven't been in the UFC all that long, but hell, I thought I was way cooler than what my page is showing.
Well, you gotta.
Yeah, man.
That's a game you gotta learn to play too.
I'm trying to play that game, but go on Facebook, Jason the Kid Knight, Twitter at Jason the Kid 23, and Instagram at JTK the Kid. Thank y'all so much. Have a good day.
Awesome.
Thank you, B-Mac.
Peace.